Good morning, it's Eric here at Peachtree Classic Cars, and I have got a sweet 1959 Willys station wagon, 4x4. Now somebody did an engine swap years ago, put a mid to late 70s 250 6-cylinder in it. It's got 3-speed manual, 4-wheel drive is still hooked up. And this is a really cool truck. We're going to take it for a quick spin. I'm going to show you around it. I actually bought this out of an estate. The guy's father had had 2 of these being restored at the same time. And I actually bought both of them. Well, she's still a little cold. There we go. I'm gonna leave that in the video because that's how starting old trucks is sometimes. The speedometer is not hooked up. In fact, I'm not sure if any of the gauges are. I've actually only driven this a couple of times. Tuned it up and dialed it in. But I mean, it steers good and straight. Actually, the motor sounds great. Transmission shifts through all the gears well. Stopping, the brakes stop straight. Got the steering wheel on a little bit crooked. It really probably needs an alignment. I will say that I think that this transmission surely shifts better than original, being more modern than the 50s model transmission that was in it. Actually, really good driving truck here. Steers nice and straight. When I said alignment, I'm thinking more about that steering wheel when the steering wheel's off. And it does not have power steering. I've got the camera in one hand. Steering around that cul-de-sac with the others, so as long as you are rolling, these steer pretty good, pretty easy. Now, for whatever reason, everyone decides to do the same thing. I've been in business for almost 15 years, and I don't know why it is, but it seems like everybody neglects to put an emergency brake back in to these old manual transmissions. And I've got 5 trucks in my shop right now and 0 working emergency brakes in any of them. So hood pops easily. I think I can get it up with one hand. It's got a primary and then a little secondary in there. Set this down for just a second. Put the prop rod up. And you can just hear how smooth that engine is running. I mean, smooth and quiet, really. It's a very, very good, well dialed in motor. So I'm going to shut her off here and put her in first gear. Always park in gear, of course. So beautiful. I'm gonna have to go through the receipts and try and see if I can compile these together so I can get all the history, but I think it was back in 2006, it looks like, according to the receipts, this vehicle was basically taken completely apart, painted, and restored. And I think we've got, I want to say, over $35,000 in receipts in restoring this truck. And then he got sick, and it sat in the shop for about a decade before we went over there and pulled them out. But beautiful, beautiful. I want to say that we're going to go looking for it today, but I've been through it bumper to bumper a couple times. I'm going to say this is one of the few chances I can say, use the phrase rust free. I have not seen any rust on this truck. The body's really straight. When you get really up close to it, you see that it's kind of a driver quality paint job There's a few little imperfections if you're going to get right up on it, and I may or may not even be able to catch those in the camera. A little scuff here on top of the bumper. You know, just a few little spots here and there, and like I said, that I may not even really be able to get in with the camera, but just really just I'm going to say driver quality paint and body work. Little prop rod there. Now that prop rod right now is connected. It's supposed to slide, and a lot of guys, we just can't get them to slide all the time, so we're just using the prop rod and sticking it up in the hood, and it works great. The chrome was all replaced when it was restored back in 2007, and so it still looks really, really nice, except for the one scratch over there I was showing you on the top of that bumper. Most of the chrome here looks basically brand new. Emblem on the grill. I had somebody else ask me, where's the little button that goes inside of here? Both of the trucks that I got from this gentleman don't have that little W. I think it was a little W that's inside there. And I've gone back and looked at the Willys catalog online, and it appears that you can buy that. It just glues in or sticks in. So all of the glass is in great shape. After they painted it, they put in all new weather stripping. So you got brand new weather stripping. Now I want to be careful because I'm tempted to say the words brand new, when really this is all, you know, probably, quite frankly now, what is it, 2023, and this was done in 2007, so this is, you know, 15 years old. Kind of crazy, but door panels look great. Some kind of covering on that, aftermarket covering. The windows roll up and down well. And the thing that'll nickel and dime you, and the reason why this guy's got $35,000 in receipts on stuff, is all the little things. The trim inside the window, the felts inside the window have all been replaced. All the weather stripping. Looks like they used the original glass. So if you look really closely, you'll see that delaminating bubbling there. That's really, really common in old vehicles. And I like the fact that it shows that it's really actually the original glass. I would keep that. And I think that's why they did. So the headliner was put in, and it's in great shape. It did discolor just a touch. We gave it one good cleaning, and I actually think a second good cleaning would probably make it look brand new again. I don't know where the switch is to turn the light on in the top, but I believe it does work. But I could be wrong. Carpet looks good. Like I said, everything in here, new, old, newer, old stuff. Heater turns on and works and is all hooked up, which is nice. I have not engaged it in four-wheel drive. I have shifted everything in and out, but I haven't tried to drive it in four-wheel drive. That's just not my expertise. And I was told by the previous owner that, of course, all that was worked on and done. Glass in the back here looks great, by the way. This door is just a little stiff going up because it's got new arms. These pop up on the sides. Clamshell tailgate opens nicely. Wooden slats in the back. I don't have the rear seats for this one. It does have a spare tire. So it looks like this was used as a work truck some. You'll find some dents and dings in the floor. And I always try and show those in the camera as best as I can. A little scratch there in the paint. Overall though, the interior looks great. These old original style panels were installed well. You can see the headliner from back here. The other thing I love too is it has a lot of people don't know this, it has the original, well, oh, there we go. So the original license plate holder actually falls down because back in the day, people would lower the tailgate and you could carry full sheets of plywood in here or 2x4s, 8-footers, and they would come out to the end and you could still see the license plate. And then when you pop this back up, well, you know what's funny? It got stuck. I'm gonna have to figure that out. Oh, you know why? It's got a little prop rod there. Cool. Okay. See, and my old one didn't have that. We used to have a Willys last year, and my old one did not have that prop rod. How cool is that? So all of this is working great. Push up on these. Window goes back down and locks. The rear bumper looks great. Now, if you look on the insides, you'll see the age of it. You see all that, you know, kind of rustiness. So, and that's surface, you know, surface rust, or superficial rust as we like to say a lot of times. Let's get up underneath this truck. It really shines under here. Incredible condition. You can see that all these parts basically were new when they restored it. They went through and they redid the drums, the brakes, they put new shocks on it. The leaf springs are all in great shape. And then, like I say, if you go around and think about what would nickel and dime you, all the brand new bolts, new rubbers underneath, you know, and like I said, I'm saying new in 2007. But for a restoration, inner fender well on the driver's side, pretty common. In fact, I actually, quite frankly, I love finding vehicles like this because usually they just need a tune-up and new tires. Got some dirt back there. That's just good old Georgia red clay from me driving this thing on my farm. It wipes right off. No rust. Rockers look great. Does look like a couple of little possible repairs here, and that could just be undercoating. Of course, it looks like they had put, you know, I mean, this rear end, for example, it's clean as a whistle. There's no grease being thrown off of it. There's no oil or drips. I think there's just a little, I do notice that there's a couple of little drips here where we've had it parked. And it's not uncommon for these to leak, and I think it could just need a few little things to be tightened up. But you may notice a little leak there and in the back. And it could just be the engine oil pan just needing to be torqued. We always say after a restoration, drive it 500 miles and go back and tighten everything else, and you'd be surprised. Most people do not do that. But I mean, like these rubbers, brand new. Inner fender well there is incredible. This is what impresses me when I get up in here and I see this is the original floor pan in the rear. And other Willys that we've looked at, I shopped. In fact, when we were shopping to build our own Willys a couple years ago for our coffee shop, I shopped and I shopped. And these are problem spots. They were, almost every Willys I was looking at was all rusted out up under here, or was rusted out all in the back behind the gas tank. Now the original gas tank's been replaced with this plastic aftermarket gas tank that comes from the Willys catalog, specifically made for this vehicle. So this is the original floor pan. I mean, the frame rails. Your brake lines look brand new. It came with some super ugly wheels. And so we just put these new original style Steelies back on. Of course, caps are available if you want them, but with it being all four-wheel drive, I wanted to kind of leave it industrial off-road looking. Again, step ups here. There's a little hole there. I thought it might be rust, but it's not, just an older hole. So I mean, again, a brand new rubber, brand new rubber, brand new rubber, new brake lines. What's funny is that with all the new brake lines you've got, actually this is the emergency brake cable system right here, and it's just sitting. So here's the cable for it. It may not actually be that complicated to reinstall. I don't know about the Willys. I haven't had to do the emergency brake before, but I do know in the old Chevrolets and Fords that the emergency brake cable repair kit or rebuild kit is available, like on LMC truck. Of course, Willys doesn't sell stuff on LMC, but they have their own Willys catalog, as I've mentioned a couple times in this video. Typically what I was getting at is that the rebuild kit for the emergency brake system is about $350. The lights work, tail lights work. I want to say, I think even the turn signals work. Let's see. I don't think we ever got the head wipers, the windshield wipers to work. I believe they're on the old vacuum system still. So we got turn signals. Yeah. Okay, cool. That's what I was thinking. Turn signals, headlights, brake lights all work. The horn is not functional. This is an old turn signal switch, man. It's so cool. So real quick, the interior is really kept original, which I really love. It does have that, I think that maybe I don't know what heater that is, if that's the Chevrolet heater or the original heater. These seats are in great shape. They were reupholstered when the truck was being restored. And they still look amazing. They still fold forward. And the other passenger side still does the mail truck folding, which it does that, and then it goes on up. Well, I don't think I've missed anything. And I ran just a touch longer, but it's a little bit bigger vehicle than others that we do. This is a driver quality paint. You can tell that it's been sitting in the garage for about 10 years. It's got a couple little, you know, nicks and scratches on it. It would buff up well. If it was my truck, I wouldn't even think about painting it. Oh, one last thing. So he had brand new tires put on it. They probably only have a couple 100 miles on them. I'll take a close-up picture of the tire date. They are BF Goodrich radials, long trail TAs. But I'm gonna say I think he put them back. I bet the dates on them are probably back in 2008 or so. And so they do have just a touch of weather cracking on them. And if you get really, really, really close, again, now this is my truck. I'd probably just drive it with these on there. They're holding air great, and the cracks are very, very small. I have had so many of these. Now, if I was driving from here to Utah, which I would never do in this truck, then yes, I'd probably want to change the tires off if I was going to go on an extra long drive. But this is really a around town driver, farm truck kind of a thing. You know, these don't go super fast. I mean, I think maybe 60 miles an hour pushing it. They were never really made for that. And of course, it's got a more modern engine and transmission in it, but it's still got the old rear end and front end and transfer case and all that. So anyways, give us a call. I know people are going to be asking me about shifting it into four-wheel drive. I may be willing to take that risk. I don't see any reason why it shouldn't work, but I'd rather just be honest and say, hey, I'd let the next guy mess around with that. Quite frankly, most guys are not driving. They want it to work, but will never ever use four-wheel drive in an old truck like this anymore. It's just more for the collector's sake and nostalgia's sake. So anyways, give us a call. We're at PeachtreeClassicCars.com, and we look forward to hearing from you.